Doing product management in Africa is super interesting for a variety of reasons. First of all, not many organizations, even startups, are not product-led. And then there's always a confusion around what actually is a product manager. Sometimes you're told to do project management. There's product business development. There's a variety of confusion around product and what it is. And that's what we're discussing today. I am joined by an amazing product owner. I'll just switch over to her to give a quick intro.
Hi, my name is June Barasa. I am a product owner at Elephant Ventures. Elephant Ventures is an innovation consulting company based in the US in New York. And we have different locations all over the world. So this is in New York, the Philippines, New Zealand, and now Kenya. And we focus on like bringing product capabilities and technical capabilities to companies and our clients who need it in data science, in software development, in research and design. So yeah, we do the whole scope, and that's basically what I do.
Awesome, cool. Thank you, June. And I know you recently got into product ownership. I'd really love us to talk about that journey. How did you get into products?
So I've dabbled in a lot of things in my short time in my career. I started out, my background's in computer science, that's what I studied. And so I did computer science, and then I started this organization called Girl School, that some of you remember, where I was teaching girls how to code so we can get more women into the space. And through that, I learned so much about products and building, coding and building products. And then after that, moved to Moringa School, where I was working, also teaching kids how to code. And then while we were there, because they're learning how to code, they had these capstone projects that they had to do. And with those projects, you kind of have to think you have to think all rounded, not just as an engineer. So I used to see some problems that they were facing in terms of designing or target audience, or how to frame your problem so that it can meet the needs of, or frame your product to meet the needs of the customers you're trying to build for. And that's where I had an interest in design. So I started doing a bit of learning in UX design. And then I was like, I'm not that creative. So maybe product development, thinking about how business, combining business needs with customer needs, and then using technology to be able to deliver a good product to your customers. So I've doubled in a lot of things, but all those experiences have kind of led me into product, which I genuinely love. And that's basically my story. It was a little chaotic in the sense of you don't know where to start. You're learning UX, you're just going onto the internet, you're learning product, and I didn't go to school to learn how to be a product manager.
I don't think there's any university degree teaching you how to be a product manager.
No, there isn't. And that's sad. Because you really have to struggle trying to find resources online, looking for mentorship. A lot of people don't have the time, so it's you try to get as much as you can from the little time that I have. But I've had good people around me.
That's awesome. Cool. And then there's always in the product space, it's always very hard to get product management associates, very junior product managers. But you just started your career. What would you advise someone who's junior who wants to come into the product space?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's some sort of, if I may call it, barrier to entry into product management. People like me just land into product management. You chaotically try to find your way in, to find your grip on things, and then eventually, now you're full speed, hit the ground running as a product manager. But then if that's where you want to start your career, I'd say there are a lot of resources online. Google is your best friend. If Google was handing out degrees, I think a lot of us would have had degrees from Google. But Yeah, like Google your best friend. Try and scour the internet. Like just look in the internet and see how much you can get. Sometimes there's a lot of resources that's also just noise.
Yeah.
So being able to figure out which one is helpful versus which one is noise is also like a good skill to have. Another way is mentorship. I think for me, mentorship was very, very crucial. But you know, my mentorship came in the sense of like, I'm not holding your hand or you know, like feeding you everything. I'm going to give you the resources. You go figure it out, right? So you're looking for people who've had experience, who've gone through this whole journey, and in the course of the journey, they've been able to, you know, figure out, okay, this is the thing that actually makes sense. This is the thing that helps. It saves you a lot of time having to be on the internet looking through resources and be like, okay, this one doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, versus this one. So they'll guide you or lead you to directly what you need. They might not be able to handhold you through the whole process, but then mentorship is very, very important as well. If you can manage to afford schools, that's also a good place to start. It's very expensive, unfortunately, and that also contributes to that barrier to entry, right? Because a lot of these courses have been created for people, say, in already developed countries, in first world countries. And here, we're still developing, right?
Yeah.
I can't afford a course that's worth 500,000 shillings at product school, right? It's very costly, so it turns me away from taking that course. But don't be discouraged, because there are also a lot of free resources that are actually very, very useful. And again, like I always see this information as, okay, you gave me some information, some knowledge, and then I turned that knowledge into something else. So knowledge is always just evolving, right? So these are the things that are on the internet, and people have found a way to like you know, structure it in a way that you can consume slowly and it makes sense to you. So if you can get a course or someone who can, you know, sponsor a course for you, take the course. There are a lot of them based in the US, and you can do them remotely while you're here. I'm starting to also see, like in West Africa, I can't remember which school it was, but like, if I remember, I'll let you know for sure. But like, they're starting a product school. So I'm starting to see product schools coming up in Africa.
In Africa.
Yeah, and hopefully more affordable.
Yeah, I think always like the challenge, especially in spaces where it's not very clear, it's so hard to get your foot in. Like landing that first job, I can imagine as a product management associate is just so tough. Would you recommend like people volunteering internship in some startups or at a company? Is that a good way to kind of...
Yeah, honestly, it is. I think when I was starting my career, like I wasn't even sure where to start, right? And some really great advice I got was either start your own thing, where when you start, if you have your own thing, you'll figure it out. You'll gain so much knowledge. Volunteer somewhere. So if there are companies that are offering this volunteering programs, volunteer there, or shadow someone in their jobs. Yeah, job shadowing is also a really good way of learning. So those are 3 things I'd recommend like people look into.
All right, cool. That's very helpful. Switching now gears to sometimes the roles and responsibilities of product managers. Or product owners, or maybe we can even start with that. What is the difference between a product owner and a product manager?
That's a very tough question. There's always a fine line somewhere, but I'll say it in the way my organization has, you know, crafted that role. So at Elephant Ventures, a product owner is someone who holds a lot of responsibility. So you're a project manager, you're a business analyst, you're sometimes a researcher, right? So you basically own the product, it's yours. So whenever there's something that capabilities that we don't have, for example, because in my team, we work with engineers and designers, right? So sometimes you might need to do a little bit of research here. Sometimes you might need to do a little bit of business analysis so that you can see how, you know, you're meeting the business goals and you can strategize better. And sometimes you have to be a project manager more than a product manager. So product owner at Elephant Ventures is just like, you know, you do everything.
Okay, cool. And product manager?
I think a product manager, I'd say just focuses on the product aspect, right? Just the product aspect of what you're building. compared to a product owner. But this is also what Elephant Ventures as crafted for us, because like in other organizations, like they have it differently, right? The product owner has different responsibilities.
Awesome, cool. So what exactly does a product manager do?
A product manager.
Or product owner, or someone in products. Let's just demystify it. You're a product person.
The simplest way I can do it, because there's so many definitions between a project manager, a product owner, a product manager, all these things. But I say, like, if you're focusing on product, you've seen that Venn diagram that has business,
Yeah.
UX, tech,
Yeah.
and then a product manager falls in the middle.
In the center, yeah.
That's the easiest way I can explain it to anyone, without creating any ambiguity or confusion. So you're basically taking business needs or business requirements. You're looking at how you're looking at your customers' needs, and you're combining all of that and putting it into using technology to create a product.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. Let me not say more.
You've definitely summed it up really well. And in terms of your day-to-day, what is like a day-to-day?
Day-to-day.
In the life of June as a product owner at Elephant Ventures.
Every day is different for we know every day is different for a product manager, but like happy path. What my day looks like is I wake up in the morning and then, of course, like look at what my team is supposed to be accomplishing today. And we'll do our daily stand-up, and everyone will come in and say, okay, I'm working on this, I'm working on this, I'm working on this. And that's where you can talk about, why don't you work on this? I think this is more of a priority, right?
Yeah.
So we do daily stand-ups to understand what people are doing. As a product owner, you own the roadmap. The product roadmap is yours. That's if there's anything else you're going to drop the ball on, don't drop the ball on the roadmap. The roadmap is yours. So ensuring that everything that people are doing is contributing and adding value into the roadmap.
Yeah.
Some days I'm doing breaking down stories into, breaking down stories basically. And other days, I'm looking at risk factors. I'm looking at how are these risks affecting our roadmap and the progress we're making towards our roadmap. I'm looking at my team. I'm looking at what they need, right? I'm looking at the team health, right? Because for them to be able to function in the best way possible, and they need to feel safe and happy. Yeah. So I'm looking at my team's needs, right? I'm also refining backlogs. Right, I'm constantly refining the backlog because, again, I own the roadmap. So I have to make sure that our backlog stories are very clear and not very technical, so that anyone who comes from business and reads, okay, what are the next 5 things that need to be done? They can understand. Engineers can also understand. So I try to make it as in the layman's language, as granular as possible in terms of how I'm communicating on the roadmap. So that's typically my day-to-day.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. No fighting with engineers?
Actually, I feel like now as I'm growing into product, I'm having less fights with my engineers, right? Yeah. And I feel like in the past, the reason why I had fights or disagreements, tension with engineers is because we didn't understand. Basically, they don't understand what a product manager does. And maybe I didn't understand where the engineer comes in. Yeah. Right? So there was always this tug of war with the hustle and bustle and figuring out okay, no, we can't do that. Yeah. Right. So in the past, I've not worked in product-led organizations or with people who don't understand what that product process looks like or agile process looks like. Right. So when you're telling people to come for a stand-up, they're like, no. You're micromanaging me. Why should I come here every day, right? Yeah. But if they understand the reason why they're there, then there's no hustle and bustle, that tug of war. It might hustle and bustle. But with lately, I've not had any of that. It's more we have had conversations. Right?
Which is really important.
We do have challenges sometimes, but we have conversations about those challenges, and we try to figure out okay, what's the best way for us to move this thing forward, right? You have an opinion, I have an opinion. Can we meet in a middle ground, or what's a priority right now? But working now in an organization that understands what agile is, what
Product.
the product process is like. Everyone shows up, right? Everyone shows up and they know, okay, I'm an engineer because this is what I need to do, and June is a product manager because this is what she does, and this is how our roles, blend. So have had less fights, they're more conversations, they're not longer fights.
That's really awesome to hear. But yeah, I completely agree with you. As you grow in your product role, it's just more about like, even just listening to them. Okay, yeah, sure, what's your concern with this feature?
Exactly.
So I always say that not everyone is built for product. Yeah, do you want to touch on some of the characteristics or character traits of a product manager for anyone who's thinking of even coming into this role?
Yeah, first of all, you have to be tough. Every day there's going to be a fire, you're fighting. Code is not, very like, it does not flow very well all the time. So you have like fires you're fighting because, oh my goodness, you went into production and then something broke and you're just like, oh my gosh. You have to have a very tough skin, but you also have to be able to work. I hate saying this, but like, for lack of a better word, just having to work in a pressure situation, because those pressures will come up. Situations where like, okay, we need to act quickly, there's a bug. The customers are not getting what they're needing, so we need to act quickly, right? You have to be prepared for that. You have to be a very good communicator, right?
Absolutely.
Because again, I'm building a roadmap. The roadmap is telling us every single thing that we need to build, right?
Yeah.
I'm communicating to all the different stakeholders. I'm communicating to my client, for example, and telling them this is why we're building this, and this is how it's adding value to the overall goal of this product. And so being able to communicate clearly in a way that they understand, and it's not that, no, that's not what you meant, or it's very important. Be able to communicate to the engineers that this is the reason why we're building this, and this is how it should look like. And when we're doing like user acceptance criteria and tests, we can tell all this, how you've met all these goals, right? So communication is very, very important. Also, being able to just think quickly, thinking on your feet, because you need to move fast. Like people are putting out products every day. You have competitors you want to, catch up with. So you have to make sure that you're thinking quickly on your feet. You have to make sure you're doing a lot of research and understanding what's happening currently in the market, so you can build a product that like fits the dynamic market, the market that's always constantly changing, and the user needs that are constantly changing, right? So I'd say communication, being able to strategize, right? So I've actually learned from my process, my journey, that there's executionary product managers and there's strategic product managers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be both, right?
Yeah.
As you start out, you're more like execution. And then as you build that muscle, you start now being able to strategize. Right?
I love that. I really love that. Because sometimes I feel like, but sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't want to miss this point. I feel like sometimes it's really good for product managers to start thinking strategically, especially like, how can I make this product innovative? How can I put just like wow the customers and the business still as a product manager, but just making sure I'm like that strategic thinker of the product.
I'd also say I'm not sure where I stand between like being able to understand technology. There's this conversation where should I know tech or not? It helps a lot. It helps a lot. I've worked with product managers who don't understand tech, or not, like don't have the background in tech. Let me not say they don't understand. They don't have the background in tech, and you find that they have a lot of imposter syndrome. And that can really, really put a dent in your confidence and how you speak to people, and like you'll never be confident. People tell when you're not confident, because now they're like, should we really go that route? Is the strategy actually what we should do? But it really, really helps. So if you can try to build that muscle, I'm not saying like go learn everything.
Just on the basics.
But understand, what technologies are used in building certain things. So for example, if you're building a data product, right? What technologies go into building a data product? What kind of frameworks do you need to understand to be able to understand what technologies go into building a data product? What kind of frameworks you need to keep in mind while you're building that product. And also, there's one thing for sure. Yeah, just understanding like, you know, what else is in the market, how has it been done? Yeah, but you don't need to understand the technologies. For example, you're building a data product, you need to understand, how do I visualize this product? What tools can I use? This Power BI, this Tableau? Why is one more powerful than the other? And where does one apply compared to the other, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, just understand all the things that go into building the data product. And then this is where you work with an engineering manager or a tech lead,
yeah,
right? Because they're the ones to tell you now, okay, this is how all of these things the technology will fall into place so that this product can become like, as we're visualizing it, right? Or as we envision it. So yeah, like, you don't need to know everything, but just understand how technology works. It's very, very important. It's a plus. You'll end up building better products than when you don't understand.
Awesome, cool. That's super helpful. Anyway, since we're here, and usually this is the top question asked for any product manager or owner, what is your best product and why?
My best, I mean, there are so many good products around, but I think one of my favorites is Uber. I think a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I just really like how Uber has been built. Like, it's such an easy application to go into, and whatever you need, it's on there. In terms of like, you know, the maps, for example, like giving you ETAs, right? Like, it tells you, it's almost always accurate.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love it. I like that they've incorporated a wallet in it, different ways to pay your driver. You can call your driver through the app, so you never need to go outside of the app to do anything, right?
Yeah.
If you want to know, I don't have to use Google Maps to tell me if there's traffic. It will probably even tell you. It will tell you in there that there's high traffic at this time, so prices are going up. I like the fact that even you can go into the Uber app where you request your ride, and then you can still click on the food one, and there's that food feature, and then it takes you to the other option. And you don't even need to download that, because you can it's all in one. I love products that make me stay in the product. Like, I don't have to leave the product to perform a different action. One thing about product that I've learned is, don't give your customers a lot of work.
Too much.
Don't give them work.
Simplicity.
They don't want to do work. So you do the work. Make sure the technology does the work for them. That's where you give them value, right? That's why they're going to pay for these things. They want all these inconveniences removed. But if you tell me now I have to go do this so I can come back do this, you kind of lost me, because those are 2 apps I have to have on my phone. I don't have enough space on my phone, so do I have to delete something? But Uber is one of my favorite. I really like how it's been built. It's sad that they don't make profit, but strangely, but I really like how they've built it. One thing I changed about the app, which I've heard a lot of people complain about, is mostly the driver's app, right? It consumes a lot of energy.
Oh, does it?
It does. That's why their phone is always on
the
charge.
Yeah, makes sense. I didn't even know that.
It takes a lot of energy, because it's using maps, it's using... What else is it using? It's using maps. I don't know what else it's using. But it's using a lot of things that are
ride-hailing apps on there.
Yeah, exactly. But I've seen how it's been a struggle for drivers. They're always buying new phones all the time.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, but other than that, like, Uber is one of my favorite apps.
All right, cool. My final question: what do you think is the biggest challenge in Africa for especially growing like product? Because I believe that product is one of those careers and spaces in tech that will continue to grow. And it would be good to know like what your thoughts are around some of the challenges.
I think we can build beautiful products, and I've seen us build amazing products, right?
And you say as Africans.
As Africans, we've built beautiful products, and I've seen a lot of them in the market. The one thing that really irks me most times is the lack of support within the company. For example, like for product managers, and this is sometimes it comes as because a lot of people don't understand how product works. Right? So you come in, you're a product manager, you're equipped, you have everything, the knowledge, the experience, you're ready to build, but then you find that, top level management don't understand.
They just don't get it.
They don't get it. So they're trying to still do things the way they do it, but not in a with a
For
product
product-led,
mindset.
yeah.
So, you know, like they want to rush things. Where's that product? Why are the engineers taking so long? Right?
Why are you
But-
doing user research?
Why are you doing, people don't invest in research,
Yeah.
right? It's very important. Why would you go to the market with a product that you don't even know that has a market?
Yeah.
That people won't even pick up, right? So you're just making people stressed because you're telling them to build a product that does not make sense.
Yeah,
right?
then you have to put your name against.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very sad. So like if you have that kind of support, that top level management support, you'll always get, you know, the resources that you need to push that product forward. Because I would hate to go into an organization as a product manager and I'm ready to do, you know, everything to make sure we build beautiful products, but I don't have that support and I'm constantly fighting, asking, can you do this? No, we can't do that. No money, or like it's too much time, you know.
I mean,
but
I
like,
tend to agree with you on
good
that
things
one,
take time.
Yeah, good things that do take
They
time.
do take time. So yeah, I get it. There's this dilemma between like rushing to get into market versus building a good product. But let me tell you one thing: if you build a terrible product and it gets to your customer's hand, they're not.
Will let you know.
By the time you're getting your customers to change their mind about that product, you've already lost them. You've already lost them. So make sure first impressions matter.
Yeah.
Right? It's even just with human connections. First impressions matter. So if I had a bad experience the first time, getting me the second time is going to be really hard, right? Getting me to open my mind is going to be really hard. So make sure that you land into the market like wowing people, as you said. Wow them, because they'll be like, even if you don't have everything, all the features that they need, they'll know that like it will come.
They'll probably come.
It will come, and they'll be patient for it because they're growing with you. But yeah, please support your product managers.
Awesome. Cool. So there you have it. That was June. She's been super helpful, shared a lot of knowledge around product. And I love how she summed it up. Let's make sure we're supporting the product talent in the organization. Because at the end of the day, most companies are going digital and your product is the center of your business. So it makes sense to invest in them, invest the right talent there. So yeah, there you have it. Please make sure to comment, share. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, always subscribe. Until next time, Kwaheri.
Bye.